Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Caribbean nations on alert as a strengthening tropical storm Kirk heads towards the Lesser Antilles. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Wednesday, September 26. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, Martinique, and Guadeloupe are all under tropical storm warning, while St. Vincent and the Grenadines are under a storm watch, as Tropical Storm Kirk continues on a path that will take it near the Lesser Antilles on Thursday afternoon. Kirk, which had developed as a storm last weekend but subsequently degenerated, re-emerged as a storm early Wednesday morning. Its maximum sustained winds increased gradually throughout the day to reach near 60 miles per hour. At 5 p.m., Tropical Storm Kirk was located about 260 miles east of Barbados and 380 miles east-southeast of Martinique. It was moving towards the west-northwest at 18 miles per hour, and forecasters say the center of the storm will move over the Lesser Antilles within the tropical storm warning area on Thursday afternoon. But even before then, the islands will begin feeling the effects. According to the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Kirk is expected to produce total rainfall of 4 to 6 inches across the northern Windward and southern Leeward Islands, with isolated maximum totals up to 10 inches across Martinique and Dominica. It warned that these rains may produce life-threatening flash floods and mudslides. Meanwhile, regional airline Liat on Wednesday announced several flights would be disrupted as Kirk approached the Lesser Antilles. It said several of its flights would either be delayed or cancelled in the interest of passenger and crew safety. The lawyer representing a Grenadian family who claimed they were bullied and humiliated by police in Barbados over a false accusation of stealing a mobile phone says the matter is now headed to the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ. Attorney Ruggles Ferguson says action is being taken against the state of Barbados and an application has been made for special leave to take the matter to the Trinidad-based court. He said the family faced gross mistreatment at the hands of members of the Royal Barbados Police Force in October 2016. The family had been in the island to get visas at the United States Embassy, and after their appointment, they went into the capital city, Bridgetown, where a store owner allegedly falsely accused them of stealing her mobile phone.
And it all started from that point, but ultimately ended with them being detained, strip search. They had to remove all their clothes, stoop, cough, had to go through the most demeaning and humiliating experience in Barbados at the hands of the police. And to crown it all, at the end of it, after they had given statements vigorously denying any knowledge about this cell phone, before the entire family of 4 could leave the police station, the police were insisting that Tamika change a portion of her statement that they were not happy with.
This is the first Grenada case before the CCJ in its original jurisdiction. Ferguson, the former president of the Grenada Bar Association, said a case has also been filed in the Barbados courts on behalf of one of the family members who lives in the island. Over in Antigua and Barbuda, the main opposition United Progressive Party, UPP, has softened its stance on the upcoming CCJ referendum. The UPP had expressed its opposition to holding the referendum only on whether the country should replace London's Privy Council with the CCJ as its final appeal court. But senior UPP member and former Attorney General Justin Simon QC says the party has now told its members to vote on conscience in the November 6 referendum. We get more in this report from Sherilyn Beezer of ABS News.
The matter was discussed at the General Council meeting of the party on Sunday.
The position which has been taken officially by the party is that it has indicated to its members that they should vote by their conscience. And to assist in that process, the party has resolved to have information and education meetings between now and November to inform their party members on the pros and the cons.
He will spearhead that process. Simon clarified the UPP's previous position on the issue.
It isn't that the UPP was suggesting no to the CCJ, but there are some persons who believe that along with the vote for the CCJ, there should be other constitutional reform provisions added to that.
He told us this means that previous views held by the party on the issue are no longer holding sway. These include the pronouncement from opposition leader, the Honourable Jamal Pringle, that the party would not support a single-issue referendum. The Queen's Counsel remains firmly of the view that the upcoming referendum should focus on the single issue of CCJ.
The Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union in Trinidad and Tobago is recommending the axing of about 650 of the 1,500 workers at the state-owned port in the capital as the only way to make it viable. President Michael Anisette says the union has submitted a proposal that includes significantly reducing the workforce in a bid to save the financially troubled Port of Spain. But so far, the government has been silent on the matter. We get more in this report from CNC3's Otto Carrington.
It's an unusual recommendation for a trade union. However, a suggestion to retrench 45% of the staff at the Port of Spain has come from the Seamen and Waterfront Workers Trade Union. President General Michael Anisette says it's a proposal his union has put forward to the government to make the port viable once again. Mr. Anisette says a cut in staff wages will help the port move forward in 2 years.
We would have done our critical analysis as it relates to that and mirror our proposals around that. You understand? Because what we did, we look at the age demographics of our members. And then I could tell you, in terms of that, we could safely send home more than 45% of the labor force, pay them the full pension benefits and give them a good golden handshake. And the port within 2 years will be up and running.
The 45% cut in staff can total to over 800 workers. He adds the proposal so far has not been accepted by the government. The union boss says there's a sinister plan to allow the port to be closed rather than sacrificing for it to be feasible.
In this round is an attempt to run down the port and make it available for their financiers.
The SWWTU says it has faced 3 retrenchment exercises before and the government rehires double the amount. He says the union has already done all the costing and it's not in the billions to send workers home. The union says they are ready to start the retrenchment process.
The Guyana Trades Union is lashing out at Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection, Keith Scott, over his decision to appoint a chairman for the arbitration process between the Guyana Teachers Union, the GTU, and the Ministry of Education. In fact, the union has threatened to strike within 7 days if there is no resolution to the issue regarding the appointment of U.S.-based Guyanese academic Professor Dr. Leland Lucas. Scott described Lucas as the right person to settle the disagreement between the ministry and the GTU, but the union says it feels as though it's being bullied into accepting him. The GTU is arguing that the Labour Ministry does not have the power to appoint, only to nominate a chairman that is mutually accepted by both parties. In a statement on Wednesday afternoon, the umbrella trade union body said Minister Scott had no legal authority to make such an appointment in a case of voluntary arbitration. GTU General Secretary Coretta McDonald on Wednesday hinted that all other trade unions are prepared to join the strike action in a move that could disrupt the entire public service. But in an almost immediate response, the Ministry of Education threatened legal consequences if the GTU proceeds on strike again, in accordance with a memorandum of agreement signed in July 1983 regarding the settling and avoidance of disputes. Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, Haiti calls for funds to deal with cholera, which continues to claim lives. We'll be right back.
Yeah, luggage is overweight. Yeah, luggage is overweight. How much I must pay?
No, you can't do it like that. You'll have to take some of the things out of the suitcases and put in a box or something.
You know, you're a wicked woman. A wicked fat woman.
Do you want a box, sir?
Box, me no? You think so you're helping me strike me? Try a box.
Barbados, it's time to laugh again. Get yourselves ready for the Caribbean's funniest men and women. Fast Promotions annual Caribbean Comedy Explosion. Saturday, October 27th, Sir Garfield Sobers Gymnasium, 8 p.m. Get your early bird tickets now and pay $60 before all are sold out at ticketlinks.com. All Ticket Links outlets nationwide. Jeans Inc. Sheraton, CS Pharmacy, Rubis Wildy, and Eddie Supermarket Spikestown.
I come in here as a loner. I know you spot me from far.
Imagine a tropical getaway where you can indulge in unsurpassed cuisine, culture and adventure this side of the hemisphere at a special rate. Fall for Barbados this October and dive into the rich offerings of the Caribbean Sea or hear the stirring melodies of jazz at the Elan Trotman Jazz Excursion. Explore fine dining with our world-renowned Barbados Food and Rum Festival. Journey to our many attractions. There is so much to see and do in Barbados this October. Book today with code #4BGI.
Welcome to Janita's Farm and Nature Park.
2 sheep. That's how many animals Javon Arnold of Nature Farm and Nature Park had in 2014 when he decided to get into agriculture full-time. Now he has over 100 animals at his farm in Calder Hall Phase 2 and a National Youth Award.
I was having a little problems on work and thing. I say like, Javon, you need to find a long-term goal.
Welcome back. Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse has called on the international community to provide the funding needed to help the French-speaking CARICOM country deal with the cholera epidemic. Addressing a roundtable discussion at the United Nations General Assembly, Moïse said that while significant progress had been made since the epidemic was first reported in 2010, the disease continues to claim victims in Haiti. He said the country needs about $390 million to eradicate the disease completely by 2022. Moïse lamented that despite the calls of the former Secretary General and his successor, only 2% of promises made by international donors have been met. Jamaica's top cop is defending the implementation of 3 states of emergency in the island all at once. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says there is a direct link between the state of public emergency declared in sections of the corporate area on Sunday and other crime-plagued areas of the country. He made the disclosure at Tuesday morning's meeting of the Internal and External Committee of Parliament. We get more in this TVJ News report.
3 states of emergency all at once. From St. James to St. Catherine North, now sections of the corporate area. Since the Prime Minister's announcement on Sunday, many, including the opposition, have been questioning the decision. And with the police commissioner addressing the Internal and External Committee, some members wanted answers.
What specifically triggered the Joint Command over last week to advise the government to declare a state of emergency in Kingston?
From an intelligence perspective, there are linkages between a number of these areas and other areas that are experiencing challenges. There are linkages with St. Catherine, there are linkages with St. James, There are linkages in the east, there are linkages with Clarendon, there are all sorts of linkages. So in prosecuting our operations and making these decisions, we use a lot of information beyond just a murder rate or shootings.
Murders have been trending down, with the recent data showing a 22% reduction up to September 21 compared to the same period last year. Much of this achievement has been attributed to the states of emergency. Despite the gain, almost 100 fewer guns and over 6,300 fewer ammunition have been seized.
Although you have search techniques and things to do it, but a lot of it is really going to come from information and intelligence that you get. As we say, we're getting better intelligence and we're recovering. If you notice, over time, all of a sudden you're picking up a cache here and a cache there of weapons.
But with the country moving into 8 months on the states of emergency, residents in these communities may be wondering when things may return to normal.
And this week in Newsline Business, Jamaica stamps its name on the map again, this time as the Caribbean's leading startup business center.
Jamaica is being touted as the best Caribbean country in which to start a business and is ranked 5th in the world, the highest ranking for any Caribbean nation. The results of a recent global study conducted by Reboot Digital Agency looked at the regulations and requirements necessary to start a business in 119 countries around the world. Countries were ranked on a number of criteria, including number of procedures, example, license and permits, the time it takes, the cost for a small, medium-sized limited liability company to start up and formally operate in the country's largest business center. The data for the study, which came from the World Bank, showed that Jamaica's startup economy has also improved over the past year. The top 10 countries for doing business are New Zealand, Canada, Hong Kong, Georgia, Jamaica, Singapore, Australia, Ireland, South Korea, and Kosovo. Kingston has also been dubbed the Caribbean's leading tech and outsourcing hub and was recently named Nearshore City of the Year at the Nexus 2018 event in San Francisco. Nicole Best, Newsline Business.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, Cricket West Indies urged to move quickly on finding a suitable replacement for head coach Stuart Law. We'll be right back.
This hurricane tip comes to you, compliments the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency and the Caribbean Media Corporation. Be prepared. Remain dressed with shoes in the event that an evacuation is required.
Dominica's World Creole Music Festival in 2018, October 26, 27, 28 at the Windsor Park Stadium in the capital city, Roseau. 3 nights, over 8 genres, 40 years of independence, 1 location, Dominica, the 20th edition of Dominica's World Creole Music Festival. For more information, like our Facebook page, Dominica Festivals. Visit our website, www.dominicafestivals.com for all travel, accommodation, and ticketing details. My love, my home, my Dominica. Building a resilient nation. See you there! Proudly sponsored by the Government of Dominica and Discover Dominica Authority.
Continuing with sports now, another cricket analyst has weighed in on the shock resignation of West Indies head coach Stuart Law. This time it's Colin Murray, who also says Law's exit was premature as the senior men prepare for the World Cup this year. The Trinidadian-born analyst gave Law a passing grade during his tenure at the helm, and as we hear in this TV6 report, Murray believes Cricket West Indies needs to act swiftly to find a suitable replacement.
Stuart Law took up the role as West Indies coach from February 2017, having previously worked with Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. But he's parting ways soon and will be joining English County Middlesex from January 2019. According to local cricket analyst Colin Murray, this can hurt Windies cricket, saying he appreciates what Law has done thus far.
Well, I think it's a big blow at this point in time because, this is a man who, whether you like him or you don't like him, whether he's good or not, that's irrelevant. He was doing a job, seemed to be making some kind of progress with the team, and with the World Cup coming up next year, I think it's a real inopportune time to lose your coach. What I do hope is that Cricket West Indies will act quickly and swiftly and get somebody on board.
Law is expected to stay on for the upcoming tours to India and Bangladesh. However, Murray feels Law's replacement should accompany the Aussie to learn more about the players and conditions abroad. Speaking of which, does Murray want a foreigner coaching the Windies, or does he prefer to go the indigenous way?
I haven't given it much thought to go through a list of various coaches to see that I can tell you, A or B. I haven't gone through that list. What I would like, though, is to see a West Indian at the helm. I would love to see a West Indian coach at the helm leading us to the World Cup next year, and of course leading us through the build up to the World Cup, because we have important series coming up. We have India, we have England.
Analysing how Law has led the Windies, Murray says he's satisfied with the performance of the former Australian batsman.
He seemed to be ironing out himself in terms of getting what he wanted. At the end of the day, I don't think he did a bad job. If you ask me to rate him a 1 out of 10, I would say maybe an 8. Or 7.5 probably, not as high as an 8, maybe 7.5. So, he didn't do a bad job.
Murray says he could have assessed Law's performance even better if he stayed on as coach of the Windies team for next year's 50-over World Cup in England. According to Murray, that would have been the real test for Law.
And fast bowling legend Sir Andy Roberts believes West Indies will continue to lose their head coaches because of lack of player talent in the Caribbean. The former cricketer told the Antigua Observer, quote, "I am not surprised by Law's decision because I knew it was going to happen, and if they don't get fired, then they resign. They move on. It's a reflection because we don't have good cricketers, and that's the bottom line. And nobody wants to be hanging on for the sake of hanging on. At this point, I would just hire somebody to go with the team, cut down on all of that backroom staff they have so we can focus on playing cricket," end quote. Roberts says the regional talent pool was so small and commitment so lacking that West Indies were bound to struggle regardless of who was appointed head coach. Still in cricket, reigning champions Windward Islands Volcanoes will contest Group A of the Regional Super 50, which bowls off next week Thursday in Trinidad and Tobago. The tournament itinerary released on Tuesday will see Group A being played in TNT, while Group B will be staged in Barbados. Group A will also feature Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, Canada, West Indies B, and Guyana Jaguars, while Group B comprises Barbados Pride, Leeward Islands Hurricanes, Jamaica Scorpions, combined campuses and colleges, and United States. Volcanoes, who stunned Barbados Pride in last season's final, will open their defense of their title with a difficult fixture against multiple-time champions Red Force at Queen's Park Oval. Canada and Wendy's B will form the undercard in another day-night contest at the Brian Lara Stadium on the opening day. The tournament runs from October 3rd to 28th. The top 2 teams from each group will qualify for the semi-finals, which will be played at Kensington Oval on October 25th and 26th, with the final carded for October 28th. Meanwhile, Test pacer Miguel Cummins has been named in a Barbados Pride squad for the Super 50. The 28-year-old has represented West Indies over the last year, but was recently dropped for the Test Tour of India, which bowls off next week in Rajkot. Cummins has played 13 tests and 11 one-day internationals since making his Windies debut 4 years ago. He's one of 4 players with West Indies experience in the 14-man squad, along with left-hander Jonathan Carter, off-spinner Ashley Nurse, and left-arm spinner Suleiman Ben. The squad will be led by West Indies ace skipper Shamar Brooks and includes uncapped 21-year-old batsman Lenico Boucher. Pride is missing the core of their first-choice squad with Jason Holder, Craig Brathwaite, Roston Chase, Shea Hope, Shane Dowrich and Kemar Roach all on tour with West Indies. Pride will open their campaign against Leeward Islands Hurricanes next week, Thursday, at Kensington Oval. Trinidadian Preven Badri won twice on Sunday's 10-race card at Century Downs on Sunday. Badri opened his account in race 6 with favourite Catch the Gold, carrying the brown colt to a front-running 1 1/4 length win over the 2-year-old maidens in a 3.5 furlong sprint. He then produced another gate-to-wire ride aboard 5-1 Chance Jaya Ho in race 8 to beat the 3-year-old and upward fillies and mares in a 6 furlong sprint. Here's a look at race 8.
My ride, not much happening in the back. It's Jaya-Ho trying to turn them all back. Jaya-Ho with second now. Why Is It My Fault? Still working hard. Event to default, but they don't catch her. Jaya-Ho goes a gate to wire. Second was Why Is It My Fault? Holding third, Event of Default. Rallying for fourth was I Tricked My Ride as Jaya-Ho won it in 1:13.1.
The Century Downs started September 2nd and wraps up October 28th. And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
This month on Caribbean Passport, we take a bite into Barbados at the Food and Rum Festival. We get an intimate look into this world-class event by top chefs and mixologists. And if that isn't enough spice, we visit Pure Grenada, all coming up right here on this station.
Again, the major developments of this day: Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, Martinique and Guadeloupe under tropical storm warning. While St. Vincent and the Grenadines is under a storm watch as Kirk continues on a path that will take it near the Lesser Antilles Thursday afternoon. And in sport, cricket, West Indies urged to move quickly on finding a suitable replacement for head coach Stuart Law, whose resignation takes effect at year-end. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, log on to CanonNews.com. For more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and subscribe to CaribVision's YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and good night.